My friend, are you an empath? Do you have a lot of empathy and feelings? If you do, maybe that's a good thing, but it might cause some struggle on your path to becoming extremely successful. And I'm beginning to become convinced that extremely successful people, which I am. Wait, maybe I shouldn't have said that, because the next thing I was going to say is that I believe that you must develop, in a joking way, a personality disorder. I should have just started the video like this. What's up? We're live. You must develop a personality disorder in order to become extremely successful if you want to hit the next level of success. Now, that's kind of a hook here, because maybe it's a personality order. Maybe it's a level of conscious competence of you sitting in the driver's seat of the cockpit with all the vital stats dashboards of you being the controller of your consciousness. Like you're a living, breathing man or woman, right? So you're a human creature, but on top of that, you have this consciousness, and this body needs to sleep, it needs to eat, all these things, but we're also social creatures. So there's lines, levels, states, and stages of consciousness, and one of them is success in this world. If you want to be part of the tribe, or maybe you have a mission, a calling, or a vision, or a mandate, or God's calling you to do something, you're going to have to develop different parts of yourself and show up in ways you've never showed up before. It's a higher calling. But how do you do that? With your current personality. What version of you is showing up? So here's my point in all this. What am I saying? You must develop a personality disorder. Here's what I'm getting at. I wish what I'm about to say could be heard by millions and millions of people. Here's what it is. The most successful people that you and I know are people who encounter and deal with very stressful situations on a month-to-month, week-to-week, day-by-day, and hour-by-hour basis. But when I say the personality thing, I'm talking about context switching and switching hats. So somebody who is very professional and they communicate in a very professional way, and they're also extremely successful. You might look at and view that person from your own observation as if they are just like that all the time. It's almost like they're like an alien. But I can almost guarantee you that the very same people that you aspire to have your act together like, and that you even look up to, the very same people that you look up to, that you think are so successful, behind the, not kind of like behind closed doors, or in other areas of their life, they deal with all types of stress and even toxic situations. They deal with all types of stuff, but they understand how to compartmentalize those parts of their personality and their emotions and their empathy and context switch, almost like a sociopath. Almost like a sociopath. And then in the very next moment, conduct business with a customer or a client or a friend or somebody, and you can't even tell that literally 5 minutes before they communicated with you, they might have had somebody screaming at them like some like a crazy irate customer who's unhappy, or something toxic in their family, but they could literally turn that off and say, "Hi, how can I help you?" And their energy is pure. "How can I be of service to you?" And then literally right after the call, they might go in a situation where it's something. So how are you showing up is what I'm getting at. I'm trying to say this without getting too personal, because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of very successful people, and I know what they actually go through, and I don't want to put anybody's business out there, but I'm so incredibly fascinated by how they show up in the world. So think of all types of stressful situations coming at them at rapid fire, like being in a batting cage with having like all 8 of the ball things that shoot the balls at you all turned on at once, and they're shooting at you at 100 miles per hour. You could only hit so many at a time, and they're actually hitting you and they're bruising you. So if that happened to you, and then you're done playing that game and you have to go now play like golf, and you're around a bunch of people, but you were just in a batting cage, getting 6 balls at a time hit at you, and you're covered in bruises underneath your clothes, right? And you're in extreme pain and agony and frustration and overwhelmed, and the whole time you had like a drill sergeant screaming at you, calling you a piece of crap, right? Just imagine this stressful situation. And then in the very next moment, like down to like the second, you have to end that, and now you're playing golf with around all these people, but you have to smile and walk in as though like you're just like cool, calm, collected. I do this all the time. Everything's great. How are you doing? How are you doing? Hey, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. What's going on? How you doing? None of those people have any clue what just happened to you. I'm trying not to cuss here. They have no clue what you just went through, and they won't even be able to tell. Is there a victim inside of you that's leaking out to those people? Because the most successful people I know, hey, how can I help you? And you might develop a story in your head, and you think that these people must be better than you, or they have like these perfect lives, or they don't have the same problems that you have. They don't have the same emotional problems that you have. It's just because they've figured out how to create a level of understanding and maturity that they don't let that leak out, and so they don't erupt in emotions. Like, I'm a very emotional person. You can tell I'm highly passionate about these topics, and I love studying successful people. And so they're very in control of their behavior and how they act. Now, they might want what they want so bad. Maybe they just want money so bad, and they've learned that they have to act a certain way or be a certain way it might be just a means to an end. On the higher level of consciousness, it might be because they just want to love and serve, and they have empathy, so they have a higher level of understanding, right? But I know if you are put into a high position that you dream of being in your life, where you want success and lots of money, let's just say, is a very shallow example, or you want a position of leadership, well, to whom much is given, much is required. If you want to be in a position of leadership and you want a big business, or you want many properties, or you want all this responsibility, what comes with a lot of responsibility. So if you hadn't gone through the lower vibrational astral energies of the pain and suffering, like let's say if you want to run multiple restaurants, I don't run a restaurant, it would probably make sense if you started out as a dishwasher and washing the dishes and prep cooking and sweeping the floors and pulling the ovens out and getting on your hands and knees and scrubbing the grease at midnight, even though you're dog tired, and learning that business from the ground up. You might have to deal with the pressures that of you coming home and not getting any sleep, and having to grow a business and learn everything about the marketing, the administration, the production, the sales, the bookkeeping, the counting, the way that everything works. So as you graduate up through the tiers, and then you begin to hire people, you understand and you have some level of mastery in that. So that way, when you see somebody else going through a hard time, you can actually step in and say, hey, I've been where you've been. I've been there. I know what it feels like. But I'm here to let you know that it's just temporary pain, and everything's going to be okay. So, back to my point here, the famous Dan Kennedy, he's one of the top marketers in the world. He's a legend. This man said he said something about he was going through some huge financial problem. And in the next moment, he walked into a conference where he was speaking, and he delivered a phenomenal presentation, and he didn't let any of that leak out. And he said that his success was a lot of his, he contributed a lot to his ability to compartmentalize his emotions and compartmentalize the area of his life and put it into different boxes. So if you have a person that has a high level of empathy and you have a lot of feelings, there's on ramps and then off ramps to the events that happen in your life. It might feel very dichotomizing. It might feel almost unethical. It might feel almost sociopathic for you to come out of some stressful family situation and then in the next moment be smiling, talking to a customer and doing a financial transaction. But the world that we live in the jurisdiction of commerce doesn't tolerate people's emotions and feelings because people want what they want. It's not like 1,000 years ago where we're all like in a tribe and we sit around a campfire and we cry and we share things and we talk about our dreams and our emotions and our social hierarchy is built around. I'm not saying that's exactly how that was, but it would be beautiful if our hierarchy was built around unconditional love and we're able to talk and share and grow and work together in communities. It's more of a dog-eat-dog world. So you have to condition and train your emotions and train yourself to be very compartmentalized in how you behave. And so very successful people have these personality traits, and if they're very high status, if you behave around a person that their time's very limited and they're very high status and very successful in a way that's inappropriate to how they are, whether they're very spiritual or they're just getting their needs met financially. If you act immature and have inappropriate language, they might not even spend time with you. They'll just disappear from whatever you're trying to communicate with them, and you'll never hear from them again. And you'll be like, how come that person won't give me the time of day? It's because you're not on their level yet, but what level are they really on? So the reason I'm saying this is because you might deeply so crave and desire in your heart to have what's called the empathetic witness. If you read the EOS Method by Gino Wickman, he wrote three books, Traction, Get a Grip, and Rocket Fuel. And he also wrote a book, you can listen to audible.com, called What the Heck is EOS? There's these deep interviews, and this guy has coached like 50,000 different businesses, the entrepreneur operating system, where they have weekly pulse meetings, and there's a bus, and there's seats, and you have to have the right people on the bus to get to the destination and get the wrong people off the bus. You can say all the right things and try to teach the wrong person. They'll never get it. They're the wrong person. But you could take the right person who doesn't know anything, and if they're hungry, you could teach them how to do anything, and they could become a rock star in your organization. There's the visionary integrator relationship. So once you understand this stuff, you can achieve miracles and make it look easy. But back to the empathetic witness. Do you in your life have somebody that you can talk to and get everything off of your chest and have a full-blown like emotional discharge all your emotions and go through the chasms and through the pits, through the valley, and then get it all out, and they just empathetically understand and they listen? It could be like a therapist, but sometimes it's somebody who is only qualified to listen to you in regards to success here, somebody who's actually successful, right? And they're just listening. Because I can almost guarantee you, I know that you're smart, you're intelligent, you have a good heart, you're hardworking, you want to be successful. If you had somebody that could just listen to you for like an hour, get it all out, just the very act of them being the empathetic witness and just complete empathy, they're not judging you, they're not telling you, well, you need to do this, or you should do this, or you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. You need to fire that guy. Why would you even put up with that? Like they're just so mature. They're just listening. The very act of them being empathetic and listening, and you being able to just talk it all out and kind of compartmentalize your life and get it all out and go, wow, wait a second. My life is actually this is my business. This is a great opportunity. I'm actually crushing it. And then you start to realize, wow, this biological primordial quantum soup that we're in, Like we are the highest form of technology, which is biology. We're this AI robot, and I can move my hands and my fingers, and my eyes are full. We got 4K cameras. Your eyes are like 10K. Your ears are like the best microphones ever, and you're in this thing. I'm totally sober right now, but you get to be born into this thing and live out this life, and we have access, and people have died and shed blood for our freedoms. And all these things and all this foundation and the concrete and the infrastructure of society has all been built. And now with the internet, with Facebook, with YouTube, we have all of this technology and people who have gone before us in the minefield and have like either shed actual blood or who have like failed horrifically. Our grandparents and their parents and their parents have literally physically men and women have physically died performing jobs just to feed their families. These people didn't have the opportunities that we have today. So if I'm talking about compartmentalizing your emotions and trying to be successful, and you look at all the people that have come before us to create these opportunities that we have, there's been this depolarization in consciousness to now where we're operating over the top of all this suffering because we have too much information, too much opportunity coming at us. And we're operating with these like these are multi-million-year-old brains that we have that's trying to interface with all this information, and we're freaking out. So how the hell are you supposed to go through some stressful family situation that actually needs to get solved for real, not just swiped under the rug, and then in the next moment operate in the jurisdiction of commerce and business and do transactions with a smile on your face? It feels inauthentic. It feels like something's wrong. So if you're going around in society and paying bills and doing all the things that you have to do, and you feel like something's wrong and you feel like it's unfair, despite the fact I said we have all this opportunity, because there is something wrong. I don't want to cuss on Facebook, but we're messed up. So here's the final thing I'll say, and I'll jump off. Samuel Turnia, you're not truly passionate about what you're talking about if you don't have to explain to people you're sober. Been there. I actually have a friend who, never mind, I won't talk about it on Facebook. It's just, I just believe that I can just be high on life and meditate, and everything that you need is right here. I went to a Tony Robbins event a few months ago in New Jersey. We spent thousands of dollars on these events. And basically I learned something. When you go out in nature and you put your hands on trees, or you walk around barefooted, or you just walk through the woods or be by the water, there's these vibrational harmonics that are coming from nature. Like, you know about the Schumann cavity resonance. I think it's 432 hertz with the earth vibrates, and we're tuned almost like the perfect like the quartz, like inside of like a clock, like a Swiss watch. The way our circadian and ultradian rhythms are so balanced perfectly in this third rock from the sun. Like, we know this stuff, but we're inside of the house 93% of the day. Unless you're like I think that if you're a landscaper, a gardener, or you do tree work, that's amazing. You get to get outside and get real sunshine and get your hands dirty, and it's highly therapeutic. So I'll just wrap this all up. How can you interface in business and in relationships from a conscious place of loving and serving and caring? We call it third stage consciousness. So first stage consciousness is there's egocentric. Egocentricism is all about me, my, what do I get, my emotions, what money do I get. It's like you almost don't even consider other people. You're just on this, like, you're the human creature. First stage consciousness is highly just transactional. You don't care about other people. Second stage consciousness is that of functionality and fairness. There's a compromise. You're willing to compromise and to get what you want. And this is where a lot of relationships end up over time. But third stage consciousness is from a place of love. So there's egocentric That's me. Ethnocentric is we and us. So there's an I space, there's a you space, but then there's a we space. So egocentric, ethnocentric. The next one is world-centric. You're considering, how does this affect the entire world at large? Is this good for you? It's good for me. It's good for us. It's good for we. How does this mission, mandate, and purpose affect the world? What is God's vision and plan for my life, and how am I developing myself for that purpose so I can live out and deploy myself into that purpose? The final step is fourth-stage consciousness, which is cosmic-centric. Like, how does this affect infinity and eternity? Like, what does this go on and on and on even after I'm dead? It's the butterfly effect. So you're operating from a totally different place. So from a higher level of consciousness, you might actually need money because you want to do amazing things in the world. You want to help people and make the world a better place. Like, you have so much love and care for humanity and for empathy. You have so much empathy that you could physically start crying because you love people, and you walk around with these rose-colored glasses. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to like Costco, but people are in such a hurry at Costco and the grocery store. They're practically pushing the cart on the back of other people's heels. I live in a mega metropolis here in Michigan. It's one of the busiest streets in all of Michigan. I mean, there's so much traffic. It'll take you 25 minutes if you just want to go to like Home Depot across the street just to get there. That's how much traffic there is. And people are stressed out. But imagine if you were just like looking at everything and everybody through the eyes of just pure unconditional love, and you just saw humanity and people, and you saw us. I believe that the very fact of just seeing somebody in traffic, you don't even have to look at them, but if somebody in traffic who's stressed out looks at you and you're just in a place of peace, you're vibrating and emanating peace, and they witness you experiencing peace, just by seeing you, it releases like dopamine in them because they witness somebody else in peace. So now they go, maybe it's not so bad anyways. Why am I in a rush? I'm going to get there. Everything's going to be okay. And because they relaxed a little bit, maybe they put their phone down while they were driving and enjoyed the ride, which prevented the person next to them from being stressed out because the way they were driving was stressed out, which prevented a car accident, which could have ended the lives of like 4 people that day. And it was all because the butterfly effect of somebody just saw you being at a place of peace and love and acceptance, a place of surrender. That's how much power that we have. So you could literally be pissed off and not responsible for the energy that you bring into an environment because you didn't compartmentalize your energy from a conscious place of being stressed out. And then it's called the pain body. It's a demonic entity that jumps from person to person and it arcs. So if you have somebody who's toxic in your life, it's a generational demonic curse that goes all the way back. It can go back 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations. And this pain body jumps onto you. And then in the next moment, you can't help it because it's on you, and you open up your mouth and discharge it, and it jumps onto somebody else. Now that person can go and be pissed off and freaked out while they're driving, and you're not even aware. You caused that. You co-created that problem, and now it could literally cause a car accident. So are you responsible for the energy that you're bringing? When you understand this, and I believe that when you pass on one day and you get to the afterlife, if you get shown the movie of every tiny thing, wouldn't you like to get shown that movie now? I have a friend, I will never say any names. He said he had this spiritual experience recently where his whole life was shown before his eyes. And he was like, it was terrifying. And he didn't know what to make of it. And there was no getting out of this experience. I think he was sober. I hope he was. And when he came out of the experience, he knew he wasn't getting out of it, so he had to just hold on for dear life and let it pass. And I said, brother, God bless you. Think of how fortunate you are to have gone through that experience, because now you have a higher vantage point. You have a spiritual discernment. Some of these other brothers don't get to have that experience. So when I look at people who don't ultimately fulfill their purpose in life and become successful, it's because I believe they have these strongholds on them. They have these, even up to the point of entities. They have things that they haven't worked through and they haven't faced. And so they don't feel worthy, and it holds them back tremendously. It's like the whack-a-mole game. If you hit it, it pops up here. You hit it, it pops up here. You hit it, it pops up here. So right now is the opportunity to be present and solve all of this now. I want to say one more thing since you're still on here with me. I dropped to my knees the other day and I couldn't help it. I just started crying. And my wife was like, "What's going on?" But it wasn't like a sad cry. This was a gratitude cry. It's a different type of cry. And here's what I realized. Whether you believe this or not, I believe this completely. When our Lord Jesus Christ was carrying the cross up the hill to be crucified by the very people that were spitting on him, he believed he was doing this for us. Okay, but just take your I'm not pushing anything on you. Just say he believed it. Check this out. How could you go bend over backwards and give and sacrifice your entire life and everything and all your hopes and dreams and wishes for people who hate you, and you're doing it for them, and they don't even like you? Think about that level of consciousness. There was a moment where he was so exhausted that he fell over and he dropped the cross. Have you been so discouraged in your life that you have fallen over and you've fallen into depression or apathy? Because apathy is even lower than depression. Apathy is where you're stuck in the mud and you just don't care anymore because it's a low vibration. Because you've tried and you failed. And you went out and you tried again and you gave it your all. With your whole heart, you gave it your all. You were so passionate about this thing. Was it about your business? And you failed, or it just didn't work. And after enough of that, you can go into something called discouragement, which is the opposite. So courage is your belief in your own ability to figure things out. Like the courage is a high vibration. It's like, you know what? I don't have all the details, and I've done all the research that I can, and I've gotten all the information, and I'm totally ready. I'm jumping. I'm going. So when you have courage, right? Courage is one of the highest states of mind and being. It's an alignment. In places of courage, I could keep you on here for an hour and tell you stories of how courage has helped me write 4 books. I have 2 Amazon bestsellers. It's allowed me to travel around the country speaking on stages as a keynote speaker. I've watched my dreams come true. It helped me build 2 6-figure businesses. Courage in the face of pain made me love and appreciate my pain. It made me reach out to the people who weren't fair to me. And even if I couldn't, even in my heart, and say, you know what, if you're going to blame somebody for the ways that they hurt you, you have to consciously blame them for the person that they helped you become. You got to be fair. You can't say, you bastard, you hurt me, you broke my heart, or you weren't there for me, or whatever. But I love you because you helped me find the warrior inside of me to go out and achieve amazing things. I love you. I honor you. I respect you. I appreciate you. I'm fired up. So what did Jesus do when he dropped the cross? He picked it up. He picked it up. And he continued his mission. And he carried it up that hill to be crucified, and he fulfilled his mission. It was a man named Simon that actually helped him pick it up. So my question is, how can you not only achieve your own success? Mac Landscaping's calling me. He's excited to hear this story because we did our Untrapped Alliance call last night. Hey.
What up, homie?
Bro, I'm on Facebook Live right now. I have to call you back as soon as I'm off, and I'll tell you the good news, all right?
All right, peace.
Last night we had my friend... Oh, screw that. I want to get back to Jesus. See? See how quickly I could have context switched and just whoop? I'm getting back on. Okay. So he picked up the cross and he carried it up the hill despite those people that were crucifying him. And he picked it up and he went anyway. So I'm crying on my face, realizing this. And my wife is like, what's going on? Why are you crying? Some of these revelations are meant for you. Because here's the opportunity that we have. No matter what you're going through, if you're depressed, if you're discouraged, or if you're in indecision, you can make the decision to keep going. You can. So I don't know how to verbally describe this emotion, but the revelation that I had was... And I've been driving around lately. My buddy, brother Steve DeHant, he's a landscaper. He's sending me all this Christian music to listen to. And I'm at this point where I don't even like listening to... I listen to jazz, but I don't even like... some of like classic rock is okay. But 99% of the music out here is trash. It's garbage. If you actually listen to the words of what these people are saying in these songs, you're like, I'm driving, trying to become the best version of myself that I can be. And yet we have this subconsciously going into this garbage. It's horrific. So whoosh, I quit listening to music altogether years ago, and I just listen to audiobooks or jazz. I love jazz. It's because there's no words. And then now he's sending me all this Christian music and I'm listening to it. It's like, you Lord, oh you Lord. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this music, I was listening to this song and they were talking about what I was just talking about, and it changed my life. Like I'm going to the gym and on my way home and getting my life changed and coming home and falling on my face crying. Like, we all have this opportunity. So if you want to live the best version of your life from a conscious place, you can go through something that's stressful or deal with something toxic or an upset customer or even a toxic family member, something that just emotionally disrupts you. But you don't have to pass that on. The buck stops with you. So when you're mature and you're conscious, something that normally would have stressed you out and ruined your whole day, you can say, you know what? Like it's like water off a duck's back, right? Man, my heart goes out to you. Because there's differentiation and there's individuation. You say, that's your drama. You can separate your drama from other people's drama. That's your drama. You might not say that to them. And then you can turn to the next person in the very next moment. You might have a meeting, say, hey, how can I help you? And then you will become the person over time that other people are coming to you for advice and saying like, how do you have your act together so well? How are you so successful? How are you doing all this? How did you become this person? And it's when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. So, do you have to develop a personality disorder in order to become successful? I think it's a personality order. It's a level of responsibility because deep down inside, all of us have this like, I posted on Instagram the other night. It was like 2015 when I was getting my landscape business off the ground and paying off debt. I had debt collectors calling me. I was super stressed out and just in survival mode for like 7 years straight. I was calling my friend who's a life coach and asking him like, Brother Rob, how do I, back then I was asking this. I was saying, Rob, how do I fast forward my consciousness? How do I get through all this suffering faster and become conscious? Like, and there got to a point where he said, brother, he says, you're cresting now. It's like almost like you're on a surfboard. You're surfing and you catch the wave and you start riding the wave and you're cresting. And I said, like, he says, you when you become present, the moment informs you what's required because you're present in consciousness. So, yeah, that's what it was. I said, but why am I still suffering so much? What is this story that's playing in my mind over and over and over, these scripts? It's almost like I'm building a story so I can cry it out to somebody so they'll tell me everything's going to be okay. What is this story that keeps running, this suffering? He says, well, the ego believes, and it's a liar, it believes that if you cry hard enough or long enough, that somebody will come and save you. You know, because when you're a baby, if you cry, you get a bottle, right? So it's like, but when you're an adult, you have to be completely responsible for your emotions and the story that plays in your head. It's neurosynaptic pruning. Neurons that fire together wire together. So if you keep playing a story and a script and you're adding suffering to it because you refuse to face the truth and take responsibility, and the truth could be, everything's okay. Everything is okay. There's something called a black swan. So basically they all thought swans were only white, and they found a black one. They had to change history and all this stuff, like, all the encyclopedias. But it was like, according to swans, they're only in one part of the world, right? I think it's like the south coast of Australia or something. So if something bad happened to you, or in your business, or you got a traumatic car accident, anything, you might run around the rest of your life traumatized, like trying to avoid that thing. And if, like I said, you're this biological AI mechanism, right? And the fire alarm keeps going off, but that thing is probably never going to happen ever again. So if you want to know what your purpose is, and you don't know your purpose, here's a great place to start. Start by giving to the world what you have been denied. So if you've been denied love and presence, and if you've been denied, the phone's ringing off the hook here. All right, I'm out of here. Much love and respect. Peace. We're about to go. We got to film. I'll catch you on the flip-flop.